Success will show you how. Ginny Bladridge, president and founder of Your Executive Image, has written a chapter entitled Strategies of Your Executive Image in the book Mastering the Art of Success. Ginny is internationally certified and a member of both the Association of Image Consultants and the Fashion Group International. Well, good evening, Ginny, and thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, first of all, talk to me a few minutes about your business. You talk about etiquette, image, and success on your website and in your business. How do those three items work together in the business world?
Well, I think to be successful in today's business world, you have to exude a very positive, credible image. That means I'm going to do what I'm promising to do. I am going to over-serve you. All of those things go into your image. It's not just how you look. It's everything you promise to do and that you're going to do it. And then the etiquette is what gives you really the finesse to look and feel more corporate. That makes people that you meet trust you more. You know, you've taken care of all the little bitty details of your grooming, of your dress, of the bag you're carrying, the shoes you're wearing, the way you've done your hair. If you can take care of those little details, it makes you look more credible, and then you're more trusted. So those two things add to success of any business. And the more corporate, the more professional that an individual or a company represents themselves, the more business really they're going to be gaining. And I think in today's world especially, we're looking for people that we can really trust, that exude that character and that integrity and that dignity that every person really should be presenting.
Do you find that people have lost that over the years?
I think that we have gotten very, very lax, and, you know, that's obvious when you look around. I can remember when my parents would travel on an airplane, they were dressed in their suits, and, you know, the women wore their hats and gloves, and even the ball games, the Cardinals, if you see all pictures, you know, the men are in suits. So obviously we've gotten very, very lax to now you see males in their muscle shirts and shorts, and, you know, women very, very casual. So yes, the whole culture has really kind of gone from professional to super casual, almost too far. And I think a lot of businesses are seeing that, you know, because they had business casual day, and they've realized that that day is almost a lost work day because people see casual and they don't work like a professional, and they're not really representing their what the image they want to portray. If someone walks in your office on a Friday and they see everybody walking around very, very casual, you know, that's a different image. But yeah, in general, culture has gone very, very, very casual. I see a swing going back, and that's what I'm here for, is just to help people get back on track, understand and learn the rules that really does make someone look more professional.
In your image consulting that you do, it's more in the professional dress than versus the dress of the day. Meaning they went to, like you said, the casual dress, and the stats at the time, this is going back a few years, when I was in the fashion industry, they said that they were actually more productive in the casual because they felt more comfortable. They were happier to go to work. They felt more comfortable in their clothes. And so that's why they did it. And then more companies actually went to more casual days than just Friday. What you're saying is you see the trend going back to...
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, the statistics now show the opposite, that there is less work done when people are dressed casual. And I think that's just, again, you know, we're inundated with the TV, the movies, MTV, and, you know, what we see, and we're a very visual society, but what we see are images that are very much, you know, and they're just not professional at all. And in fact, a lot of them are very degrading images that we see, especially degrading to women as they dress, you know, more sexual actually than really more dignified and more feminine.
I even was a little disappointed when it went to that extreme of what they were calling that grunge style.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I thought, oh my gosh, that's beyond casual. It's one thing to dress casual, but
an artist can dress like that. You know, in the studio, a photographer, you know, people in the creative field, I don't see it as a problem. They don't have to be confined to looking professional, but people who are in the professional world, which is really 80% of us, work in some area of corporate, really you want to dress well, and you always want to dress for the part or the role that you would like to have. And I know this is something that most people know, but a lot of people don't know. So I would like to mention that because I really think if you're thinking, man, I'd like to be the team leader or I'd like to be, the next manager, then start dressing like that. You'll get a little flack from your co-workers perhaps, but it doesn't matter because you know what? The leaders of that company cannot visualize you as the next manager or the next team leader because I only see you dressed in the way you're dressing. So if you dress for the part you want, the leaders of the company see you dressing that way, then they can actually visualize you in that role.
I think what people are missing today is the youth, unfortunately. They're coming out of college, seeing that visual on TV that's very casual, and they aren't prepared for the workforce. So when they go out there, they're not dressing the part.
Right.
And so it's hard for them sometimes, I think, even to get a job if they're not dressing the part. It's good to know the industry that you're interviewing for because what you can dress in the art field is different than you can dress in a financial industry.
Exactly. And in fact, I've done a few programs for like the University in Missouri where I deal with the seniors and try to prepare them. And they're very grateful. They really just don't know. And I think a lot of women who've been home and who are going back out into the work field, or maybe women who worked at the Chrysler plant that was, closed down, men and women who are trying to get in a different profession now, they have to dress in a different way. So, when the potential employer looks at two resumes and they're both outstanding, they both have a lot of work experience, they're both very qualified, and they call both candidates in, who's going to get the job? It's going to be the one who's dressed for the part, who's taking care of their details of their hair and their nails, and, their cell phone is off and put away. The one who comes in, who can give them direct eye contact, who can smile at them, who has energy and confidence. That person is going to totally rule out the one who comes in who's disheveled, who didn't iron their clothes, who, just didn't realize that all those little tiny details make such an important message.
You talk about on your website the executive presence self-assessment. What is that? And can you walk me through some steps on that?
Yeah, well, it's really a fun assessment that you can just actually go on and take yourself. It's $15, I think. But anyway, it asks you very pointed questions like, do you feel comfortable in dining? Would you be able to have tea with the queen?
Are you prepared?
Yeah, some people say, oh yeah, I'm good at that. And then you think, oh no, I wouldn't have, so there's a lot of pointed questions about that, about manners, about your dress, how confident you feel in how you look every day. So there are specific questions, and after you fill out the form, you immediately get a response, and it'll say, okay, you are great in this area, but these are a couple of areas of growth for you. And then you can go and get books. You can, hire someone to coach you. You can suggest that, someone comes in and coaches your team in that area. So what I do when I meet with the corporate leader of a company, I say, okay, so you want this group of your sales force to have more executive image. Let's figure out exactly what areas they're weak in and what areas they're strong in. So then that team would go on and take the test, and then they actually get the feedback. I get the feedback, so I know exactly which areas are most important. But it's good for them to know, because then when they come to my training, they're more open, right? They know they need help in certain areas, and it just sets them up for more success that way.
Well, they don't feel like then you're being so critical. If it's something visually you can see, they've actually taken the test that's shown where they're weak in certain areas.
Exactly. You
also have on there a step profile that you suggest or recommend people to use if they're looking to brand and focus on their strengths and our weaknesses. How is that different, or what are the steps in that program?
Well, that program is more on emotional testing and understanding corporate culture, the nuances, and so it is different. I think it identifies on a different level, totally, where you are, your maturity level, your ability to work with other people, things like that. So that that profile is different, but it also is very, it's great for the employee or the person who wants to know more about how They do. And this is something, the emotional intelligence, that a lot of corporate companies are looking at again. So this would give them feedback as well. And also, all of these tests can be arranged that they only come back to the employee or to the employee plus me, or include the corporate leader, either way. So it's more of a 360 that way, where you're getting feedback from everybody.
If it's a group, everybody's getting the same feedback.
Exactly.
As one of the authors in the book, Mastering the Art of Success, flipping through, and it looks like each chapter focuses on a little bit of a different expertise. One is by Jack Canfield. He talks about finding a mentor and believe in your dreams and the importance of that. Mark Bernard talks about achieving the sales success and how you actually ask for the sale and close for the sale. Then Lisa Wilbur talks about miserable to millionaire and finding the winner in you.
Yes.
And then there's your chapter. Talk to me a little bit about the chapter that you wrote.
Well, the chapter I wrote is very practical, I feel, and it is really about why image is important, how to uniquely brand yourself. It's about how to build a professional wardrobe. I really just try to give the reader very practical steps that once they've read that chapter, they feel confident about going out. I talk about how to network a room, how to introduce yourself properly, down to the smallest detail about having your business cards there and ready. There's no scratched out parts on it. Every tiny detail that I could really think of that would benefit someone who is like, okay, I'm really ready to step up my game, or I'm tired of being the one who's not called in, for the interview. It could be something even as simple as changing your email address. If you have something that's like, sexywoman at 101 yahoo.com, you may not be getting a call. So it's very easy to get a nice email, even your name at something. And, so just little tiny details like that can really affect someone. I really try to include all of those in there.
What I think is interesting about the book is just quickly glancing through it as the different chapters. It's really helpful tips. Some of the things you already know, or you'll go, oh yeah, I know that. But on the flip side is, do you really think about it that you're doing? Like you said, as simple as the business card. We've been having one. There's many times I've been at events and somebody will say, do you have a business card? And I'll say yes. And I said, do you have one to reciprocate?
Right.
And they'll be, no. But if you have an extra one, I can write on the back of yours and give you my information. And I think, well, that doesn't really work that well. But it's simple things like that.
Exactly.
I think is very helpful.
Right.
And I think people tend to forget those. So it's a nice reminder of some of those basic things that actually will hurt you.
Right.
And those things that are so simple that really can make you stand out different than somebody else.
And not using your business card like a flyer where you just go around and pass them out. No, you ask for someone's first. You look at it with your eyes. You don't just take it and stick it in your pocket. You literally look at it. You try to remember the person's name. You don't take it and write a note on the back of it in front of the person either. Remember the detail and later add it. So those little tiny things really add up, and they're things that you may not have thought about, or you've seen other people do and, didn't really bother you. But those are things of finesse.
But they leave a lasting impression on someone, and that little thing might keep you from either getting that or closing that next sale or that job.
You are absolutely right. Yes.
Well, Ginny, you've been a pleasure to have on my show. I appreciate you stopping in and sharing the book with me. Where can they find the information?
Yes. Well, my website is yourexecutiveimage.com. All my information is on there. Please sign up for my newsletter. I do send out, tips once a month. I don't over inundate anybody, but again, yourexecutiveimage.com. Thank you so much.
And I'll put your link up on my webpage, so if anybody missed any of that information, they can find it there.
Okay, wonderful.
Well, I appreciate you stopping in.
Okay.
If you missed any of that information, you can go to KLOU.com, keyword Michelle, and I'll have all the information waiting there for you.